Good afternoon. It's meteorologist Michael Fecca. Welcome back to the 14 First Alert streaming show we do here every day, Monday through Friday at 2:30. We'll take a look at our forecast for today and we'll kind of wrap it up at that. We'll keep it short and sweet. So what are we watching here for the next several days in terms of the weather? Well, we're finally over with that heat wave. We've been on alert for heat and humidity for the last almost 2 weeks at this point. Today, we finally have that cold front beginning to move in from the northwest. That is going to help cool our temperatures down and bring those dew point temperatures well down into a more pleasant category. So heat and humidity going to feel a lot better here as we go through the weekend. And not only is it going to feel better, but the weather's going to stay really nice. We'll have high pressure in place, and that's going to keep things sunny and dry. So right off the bat, if you don't have anything going on this weekend, I highly recommend you make some plans to do something this weekend. Do something outside because it is going to be gorgeous. And then we've got showers on the way for early next week. We'll start to see our humidity creep back up. However, our temperatures should remain in the 80s, but it's that increase in humidity that will make that shower chance a little bit more possible. But here's a look at our current temperatures. So right now, most of us are sitting in the mid to upper 80s. Pretty much everyone's south of I-64. Far to the north, though, or northern fringes of the viewing area, that's where that front is currently locked up. So that's where the cold air is. So we're seeing temperatures in the 70s in the middle of the afternoon at the end of July here in southern Indiana and southern Illinois. So pretty cool out there. 73 in Flora, 79 in Fairfield, but around 86 here in Evansville. Almost a 10-degree difference between Lawrenceville and Evansville. So that just shows you the power of this cold front. And you can also see that here if we take a look at our 24-hour temperature change. Everywhere you see the blues and the purples, that's where temperatures have cooled off compared to 24 hours ago. So Indianapolis already 18 degrees cooler than where they were this time yesterday. Evansville, we're at around 7 degrees cooler than where we were this time yesterday. So it's a slow progression of this cool off, but it is happening, and it's happening today. We can even see that change in our dew points right now. You'll notice that most of us are sitting in the lower 70s, where we were all the way up into the mid to upper 70s, even a few low 80s over the last few days. But where you can really see the difference is up in that top left corner there. 68 degrees for your dew point there in Flora compared to 74 down in Greenville, where you're farther away from the front versus closer to the front. So the front is moving in, cooling temperatures down, and taking that humidity off a little bit as well. And our 24-hour dew point temperature change shows that we're around 16 degrees less humid than where we were this time yesterday up towards Lawrenceville and Flora, and we're around 7 degrees less humid here in the Evansville area. So even just that makes it feel a lot better. And our feels like temperatures aren't all that bad. I mean, they are slightly inflated there by around 10 degrees, but feels like the low to mid 90s, which isn't completely out of the ordinary here for the end of July, but off to our northwest where that front is moving in, that's where it's a lot more refreshing, a lot cooler, a lot more crisp. Temperatures feel like they're in the 70s still. So that is good news. Here's a look at our satellite here. You can kind of get a good view of where that front is. So out ahead of the leading edge of the front, we did have a couple of showers and storms move through western Kentucky. Those are mostly wrapping up at this point. And then behind it, we've got this cooler, drier air working its way in from the northwest. So this is pretty much where that front is, where the cold air is locked up. So it is slowly progressing its way southward over the tri-state. And here's a look at some of those thunderstorms again. Very last one hanging on there at the very eastern edge of Muhlenberg County and in southern Ohio County. That'll be moving out towards Morgantown, away from us, towards Warren County there in Kentucky. So outside of that, I think we're going to stay mostly dry for the rest of this afternoon. We'll stay dry overnight tonight with partly cloudy to mostly cloudy skies. And then as we get into our Friday, high pressure will be fully in place through the afternoon. We may wake up to some cloud cover, but we'll become mostly sunny through the second half of the day. And it is just going to be sunny, beautiful, cool, and a little bit more refreshing out there for any of your Friday activities. So definitely a gorgeous day to round off the work week. But right now, temperatures will drop down into the mid 60s, which is the first time we've actually dropped below 70 in the entire month of July so far. We really haven't seen refreshing overnight lows. So 60 degrees, that's going to feel nice. 66, mostly cloudy. Winds will be out of the northeast between 8 to 12 miles per hour. Then as we get into Friday, we'll only warm up into the lower 80s. I mean, this just feels, honestly, like the beginning of October here. 83, mostly sunny, cooler, less humid for our Friday. Winds out of the northeast, again, up to 12 miles per hour possible. And then the good times continue as we go through the weekend. So Saturday, another beautiful day, mostly sunny skies, 83 degrees, pleasant. We start to get a little bit warmer once we get into Sunday by a few degrees, but again, nothing like what we're seeing the last couple, or what we had saw the last few days. So it is definitely going to be improving there through this weekend. And here's a look at our 7-day temperature trend. You'll notice our average high, 89 degrees, that red line. Most of our temperatures are either going to be right along that line or just south of there, indicating we'll be slightly below average for the first time in a very long time. And then those overnight lows down into the lower 60s. Actually, let me go ahead and back that up and let me show you guys, because that is also going to start to feel really good. All right, doesn't look like it wants to back up, but either way, lower 60s for our temperatures overnight, Friday and Saturday. I'd say if you want to, if you're a little daring, you could probably turn off the air conditioning, at least leave the windows open overnight, Friday night and Saturday night. That's what I might do. So just keep that in mind. But here's a look at our dew point trend. So here's why I'm leaving those windows open. Friday and Saturday, dew points are down into the just dry category. So down into the 60s and 50s, which is very similar to what we expect during the fall months. And looking at our rain and storm chances, we will dry out through the weekend there. Maybe an isolated pop-up shower in the afternoon on Sunday, but better chances arrive with better moisture transport out of the south as we get into Monday and Tuesday. But even then, it's not like it's going to be a widespread rainy event. It's just going to be more scattered showers, more typical for summertime. But here's a look at our future radar, longer range radar, European model, showing that slight chance for maybe a spot shower Sunday, but better chances arrive once that high pressure system pushes off to the east. More winds up out of the south will deliver more humid and moist air. So that's why we'll see those shower chances increase, but nothing major moving through the region by any means for the next week or so. So things are relatively quiet or normal right now. And looking at that risk for Monday, we do have the chance for some showers. Not really outlooked for any severe weather, but again, we could see some localized areas of flooding with any heavy downpours. But looking at our precipitation so far for the month of July, almost every day in terms of our temperature, we reached 90 degrees or above. But overall, for the month of July, we really only had 1 week that picked up most of our precipitation, and it was all actually just 2 weekends ago where we had over an inch for 3 days in a row, over 2 inches there on the 19th. That actually caused some areas of flooding in the Evansville area a few weekends ago. We're not expecting that here, so that is good news for today. And looking at precipitation for the entirety of the month, since we're rounding out July, we've picked up around 6.47 inches, or just under 6.5 inches of rainfall. That puts us around 2 inches above where we should be for the month. For the year, we're still well into that surplus, so around 10.58 inches of rain above where we should be. We've picked up around 40.8 so far for the year, and our average temperature, which counts for the morning, or excuse me, the morning lows and the afternoon highs, and then they average them together. So because our overnight lows have just been so warm, well into the 70s each night, our average temperature is just shy of 4 degrees above normal. So rounding off the month of July, much above average for precipitation and for temperatures. Now looking out towards the month of August. So it looks like in terms of temperature, we'll hang out right around average, maybe slightly above in some points, but it doesn't look like it'll be as consistently hot as it was for the month of July. And looking at precipitation, maybe picking up on some tropical moisture there on the southeast coast, but still expecting to remain right around average or just slightly above in terms of precipitation. So overall, fairly normal as we head into August. And that's all I've got for the forecast for you. So here's a look at the 7-day beautiful weekend ahead of us here. Less humidity, much cooler. Definitely make some plans outside if you don't have any already. Overnight lows will be down into the lower 60s Friday night and on Saturday night. I'd recommend, if you can, maybe leave the windows open, and then we'll see humidity return a little bit as we head towards the beginning of next week. Temperatures should remain in the 80s, so staying fairly comfortable, but that increase in humidity will bring up our chances for maybe a few spotty showers as we get into Monday and Tuesday. So that is all I've got for the forecast for you here, and that's all we have for the stream today. So let me go ahead and check out the comments. If you guys have any questions or concerns, let me know down below. Looks like Jeanette says she got her yard all mowed. Congratulations. I'm glad for you. What's the rain chances for next week? Right now we're sitting at around 40% for Monday and Tuesday, so nothing widespread or a washout by any means, but more showery pop-up type activity. And that is all I am seeing here. So I am going to hop off of the live stream now. I'll send you guys over to 14 News at 4, 5, and 6 for all the latest news and weather headlines. Of course, Jeff will be back here at 9 o'clock tonight for the 9 o'clock stream show, and then again on 14 News at 10. So until then, everybody, have a great rest of your day and stay safe.